When you think about hiding something valuable, like gold bars, your mind probably jumps to images of secret vaults, high-tech alarms, or treasure buried deep underground. But sometimes, the most ingenious hiding place is right in front of your eyes, where no one would ever think to look. Picture this: 49 gold bars, each one gleaming and heavy, worth a small fortune, packed away in nothing more than plain, unremarkable cardboard boxes. No elaborate heist, no midnight getaway, just a simple, almost casual handoff in broad daylight, as if it were any ordinary delivery. This isn't a story from a movie script. It really happened, right in Australia at the historic Perth Mint. The gold was genuine, but the events surrounding it became a masterclass in deception and audacity. The masterminds, not international masterminds or seasoned criminals, but three brothers from Perth blending in with the crowd. They noticed a flaw in a system built almost entirely on trust, and with sharp observation, they exploited it using a plan that was as simple as it was bold. No weapons, no high-tech gadgets, just nerves of steel and a story convincing enough to fool even the most cautious staff. They walked into the Perth Mint, persuaded the staff they'd struck gold, and calmly walked out with a fortune in their hands. The nuggets they presented were clever fakes, crafted to deceive, but the brilliance of the con lay in its breathtaking simplicity. This wasn't a violent heist, it was a crime of persuasion where words and confidence were the only weapons needed. The gold, and the lie that surrounded it, were both hidden in plain sight, right under everyone's noses. The swindle would ignite decades of legal battles, controversy, and endless debate about how it all happened. It's a powerful reminder. Sometimes the most dangerous weapon isn't a gun or a tool, but a believable lie told at the right moment. The Perth Mint swindle wasn't about brute force or violence. It was about exploiting trust and turning it into opportunity. It challenged everything people thought they knew about security and forced institutions to rethink their vulnerabilities. And it left a lasting mark on Australia's justice system, echoing through courtrooms and headlines for decades. Sometimes the boldest crimes are the quietest, unfolding in silence while the world looks the other way. And sometimes the truth is the hardest thing to find, hidden in plain sight, waiting to be uncovered. To grasp the audacity of this swindle, you first have to appreciate the world it invaded. The Perth Mint isn't just another institution, it's a cornerstone of Australia's gold industry, a place where trust is everything. Founded in 1899, it stands as a global symbol of security and integrity in precious metals, with a reputation built over more than a century. People from around the world trust the Mint to refine, store and certify gold, sometimes their life savings. Every step, delivery, weighing, assaying, is meticulously documented with layers of checks and balances. The staff are experts, trained to spot fakes and irregularities, and their vigilance is legendary. Millions of dollars in gold pass through their hands daily under the watchful eyes of security and tradition. Fooling them should have been impossible. At least that's what everyone believed. The Mint's reputation is its foundation, and its name is synonymous with trust. For decades, its procedures worked flawlessly, with barely a hint of scandal or error. But trust, as it turns out, can also be a vulnerability, one that's easy to overlook. In the early 1980s, tradition and professional courtesy shaped every transaction, and relationships mattered. Prospectors with big finds were treated with respect and a bit of faith. The system assumed honesty and rarely questioned a good story. The swindlers walked into this world of experts and protocols, blending in with practiced ease. They didn't need to break in, they just needed to be believed, to look the part and play by the rules. Their plan relied on the Mint's trust in a good story and the willingness of staff to take things at face value. No one expected a low-tech con at such a high-stakes institution where every detail was supposed to be airtight. For a while, the brothers' gamble paid off, and their scheme went undetected. The Perth Mint's trusted name was about to be tested like never before, as suspicion slowly crept in. And its legacy, once unshakable, would never be the same again. The masterminds? 3 ordinary brothers from Perth, Ray, Peter and Brian Mickelberg. Ray, a former helicopter pilot, was the charismatic frontman. Peter, an ex-cop, brought knowledge of law enforcement. Brian, the youngest, was a tradesman, quiet, unassuming. They weren't career criminals, just suburban guys with ambition. The prosecution painted them as a tight-knit team chasing quick wealth. Ray handled the mint, Peter navigated legal risks, Brian helped with logistics. No outsiders, just family. But were they cunning swindlers or scapegoats? Public opinion was split. Some saw them as clever criminals, others as victims of police corruption. The truth about the Mickelbergs remains as murky as the gold itself. Their story is as much about doubt and justice as it is about crime. The plan was simple: convince the mint they'd found a massive gold deposit. They created fake nuggets, real gold mixed with base metals shaped to look authentic. The backstory? A secret outback gold find. Plausible, even romantic. They tapped into Australia's gold rush mythology. Ray played the prospector, presenting genuine gold samples first, a classic bait and switch. The mint tested the samples, found them pure, and trusted the rest. The hook was set, but the flaw was in the money. The payout, over $650,000, came as 3 bank checks. Moving that much money leaves a trail. The brothers focused on fooling the experts but overlooked the paper trail. The checks would become their undoing. The plan's brilliance was matched only by its fatal oversight. In the end, the simplest detail, a bank deposit, would unravel everything. The swindle was bold but not bulletproof, and the consequences would be enormous. June 22nd, 1982, the day of the swindle, a day that would go down in history for its audacity. Ray Mickelberg and an associate arrived at the Perth Mint with 49 kilos of gold in 3 cardboard boxes. They appeared confident and unassuming. No drama, just a routine delivery. Everything seemed perfectly normal. The boxes contained fake nuggets, heavy, dirty, and convincing. They looked just like the real thing. The mint staff, reassured by earlier genuine samples, accepted the delivery. They had no reason to suspect anything was amiss. In exchange, the brothers received 3 bank checks totaling $653,000, a small fortune at the time. They walked out, having swapped worthless metal for a fortune. Their plan had worked flawlessly so far. The deception was seamless, until the mint began processing the gold. That's when things started to unravel. Once melted, the truth emerged, mostly base metals, not high-purity gold. The realization hit hard. The swindle was exposed almost immediately. Panic and disbelief spread through the mint. The clock had been ticking from the moment the boxes entered the mint. Time was never on their side. The con's success was always temporary. It was only a matter of time before it fell apart. The real question wasn't if they'd be caught, but how quickly. The authorities were already on their trail. The fallout would be swift and dramatic. The news spread like wildfire. The quiet handoff had set off a storm. The repercussions were immediate. The mint's trust had been shattered. Relationships were strained, and the hunt for the culprits began. The chase was on. The fraud was discovered within days. Melting the nuggets revealed their true, low-value composition. The mint was humiliated. Police launched an immediate investigation. The key clue, the 3 bank checks. 2 were quickly laundered, but the 3rd was deposited directly into Peter Mickelberg's account. That single transaction tied the brothers to the crime. Why would an ex-cop make such a basic mistake? Arrogance, error, or a setup? Regardless, the check focused the investigation on the Mickelbergs. The 3 bank checks, 2 were quickly laundered, but the 3rd was deposited directly into Peter Mickelberg's account. That single transaction tied the brothers to the crime. Why would an ex-cop make such a basic mistake? Arrogance, error, or a setup? Regardless, the check focused the investigation on the Mickelbergs. Police searched their homes, looking for evidence of the swindle. The simple plan had unraveled because of a simple, traceable piece of paper. The case was now a public spectacle. The brothers' lives would never be the same. The trial was sensational, but the evidence was mostly circumstantial. No direct proof, just the check, financial records, and materials allegedly linked to the fake gold. The defense claimed the brothers were framed, accusing police of fabricating evidence. Detective Tony Lewandowski's testimony was crucial, but his integrity was later questioned. The trial became a battle over police credibility. In 1983, Ray and Peter were convicted. Brian was acquitted of the main charges. The verdict seemed final, but the brothers never stopped fighting. For them, the real battle was just beginning. The Perth Mint swindle was far from over. The conviction sparked a decades-long fight for justice. The brothers appealed repeatedly, insisting they were innocent. Their cause divided Western Australia and cast doubt on the justice system. In 2002, a breakthrough. Detective Lewandowski was convicted of fabricating evidence in another case. This revelation undermined the original prosecution. In 2004, the court quashed the convictions, citing police misconduct. Ray and Peter were exonerated after more than 20 years. The state apologized and paid compensation, but the damage, lost years, broken family, couldn't be undone. The swindle became a cautionary tale about justice gone wrong. With the brothers exonerated, one question remains: who really pulled off the swindle? The gold and the money vanished, never recovered. Theories abound: a larger conspiracy, powerful figures, a deliberate frame-up. The real culprits remain unknown, the trail long cold. The Perth Mint swindle ends not with answers, but with mystery. We know a crime was committed and the wrong men paid the price. The gold is gone, the truth buried. Some stories never find closure. This is one of them.